Hey there, everyone. Today we'll be going over the basics of how to get your M-Class license. Whether you're a complete beginner, someone who's been riding for a couple of years and just hasn't gotten their license yet, or anything in between, this video will be for you. So, to get your M-Class license, you're going to need to have both a practical and a written test completed. The practical test is pretty simple. You have three different options you can do for that. That is going to be either through an MSF course, like most people do. And if you're a complete beginner, I do recommend that route. If you don't want to do the MSF route, there's also the BRC2 route, which is for more advanced riders. But in the end, you get some more legitimate training, and they kind of gloss over the absolute basics, and it takes 1 day instead of 2 to 3. So it's a lot faster, better use of your time overall. And the third option is to just go to the DPS office and take a driving test through them. Taking a driving test through the DPS office, super simple. You just show up, similar to a regular driving test for a car. They take you through that quick 10-minute route, and you're done. They do charge about $20 for that, but compared to the $200 to $400 that the BRC2 and MSF cost, that's $20 ain't bad at all, especially since you have to pay the $500 dealer PS fee anyway. But the MSF is for an absolute beginner. It teaches you the basics, everything you need to know. I personally took the MSF, and that's because I'd never even I'd never driven a motorcycle before. I've been on the back, but never actually, vroomed it. BRC2, that one still mainly covering basic rider principles, but once again, it's only a day, so if you feel comfortable with your skills already, but maybe you haven't ridden like a year or so, that is the route for you. You just show up, they take you through exclusively the practical side of things, and then after you get through the practical side of things, you just pass the piece of paper they gave you to the DPS office and pay a small fee. And DPS office, we already went over it. You just show up, take the test. Simple as always, simple as always. Now then, after taking your practical test, you will then have a written test. If you took the MSF or the BRC2 course, you don't have to worry about the written test. It was part of your $300 fee. The DPS route, though, when you're at the DPS office, right after or right before, depending on how your office is, you take your physical test, your practical test. They will give you a piece of paper. You just answer the questions, literally exact same as if it was a driving test. Super, super simple. And then once you complete all of those, the only option you have after that in order to get your M-Class license is to go to the DPS, which you might already be there, give them your paperwork, which whoever you took your practical test through will have. They'll provide that to you when you complete your test, and you just pass that paperwork to the DPS office. You show up with your social security, your identification, and proof of residency. That's all you're going to need. And boom, there you go. They take your picture, they give you a new piece of paper, and you get to walk out of there with a license. But I will say, you don't get to just, show up and it's zero cost. They do charge you $50 for that. So if you took the driving test through the DPS, they'll charge you that $20 for that test, and then once you complete the test, they'll charge you $50 to actually get your paperwork processed. And they'll charge you that $50 fee whether you took the MSF or the BRC2 course. So you can either spend somewhere between $250 and $450 with the MSF or BRC route, or if you are very comfortable on a motorcycle, you know full well you can pass all and any test they throw at you. You can take the DPS route, which in total comes out to $70 if you take that route for everything. And you get an M-Class license. So sub $100 and you're chilling. You're set. You're on the road. You're riding like it's nothing. You get to sit back and chill. Feel the breeze in your hair. But that's a pretty quick process of how you get your M-Class license. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to subscribe and like. Always posting more and more stuff for beginners especially. I'll see you guys out on the road. You have a good one.